ready? We're ready.
I'm ready. Have the flag on the table facing the camera.
All right, folks, you all set, Sean? Okay. Rise, and there's a flag here, and there's one over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could remain standing and remember our troops, home and abroad. It's still very dangerous out there. And if we could also remember some local folks, Shirley Lucas, Capriano Pasquale. You would actually know him if I described him to you. He was always out here walking. And a nun from Sacred Heart that my friend over here, Ed Dunn, and myself both had in first grade, I think. First grade or third grade?
Who was that?
Before my
Sister Helen Marie.
Seventh grade.
Sorry. Maybe I stayed back. Thank you so much. For those watching and for those here, this is Todd Atkinson, our village engineer. I've asked him to be here tonight. Emily was supposed to be here. That's okay, we'll do it next week. So, first on the agenda is to continue, which I will tell you we're coming to the end, I think, but we'll continue tonight with the local law amending the zoning in the B1 district, Main Street corridor. And after tonight, it'll still stay open, but not for much longer. As we head towards doing something here. So there's a public comment right now. As I said, the public hearing has been kept open. Any public comment? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Village Trustees, Eric Smith, Chairperson of Consolidated Planning Board. We did send you recent correspondence. And I'm happy to be joined by two of the board members with me. We have some concerns about the parking proposal and the recent updates that the board made. We think parking is a concern in the village, and I think the proposal is deficient in parking. I did a survey of all surrounding communities. I added other ones, Town of Newburgh, Town of New Windsor. I tried to find like communities, and I think there's at least 11 municipalities on there. Not one falls below one space per unit. Now, there are plenty of places in some of those codes where there are abilities of planning boards to grant a little less. So I think those are important. And I continue to always look at this as the global thing, as not just one project, because these changes will have effect to multiple potential projects in the future. So I think that we should return to one space per unit. Any project would have multiple ways to potentially comply with parking, whether it's scaling back a project, whether it's seeking the planning board's ability to reduce some of the number required. And with any zoning, whenever you have zoning law in a municipality, there is a zoning board of appeals. So no matter what the law is, everyone always has their chance to appeal that and use special circumstances. But I feel pretty strongly that there's not adequate parking at 0.6 spaces per unit. So That's what I'm here to say, always, yeah.
And just to address a couple things, as far as parking, this board, I can go back to many, many years ago and continue to talk about parking, especially, but not only at the north end. Those streets from Cousins north are loaded now from single-family homes to 2 to 3 apartments, which means 3 to 4 to 5 cars per house, which never used to be. So I hope that our planning board and zoning board continue to remember that. And parking at the north end, to me, means 2 different things in this case. One is what I just spoke about, that this board continues to talk about the lack of parking on side streets. But North Main Street from Penn Fed that closed north on either side is almost all the time empty. I just want to bring that out. There's no parking problem there. But I appreciate your comments.
Right.
Okay?
But there's a difference, so those
Yeah, there's a
are
difference.
for commercial uses, and so I have confidence that commercial uses there would be able to use those transient commercial
Yeah.
spaces. I
And-
think the concern is people staying,
Yeah.
and the concern is always those things.
Yeah.
We did recently handle a project down there, and for the residential uses, we required off-street parking, as any prudent board should do.
And your comment that you used the word global, if I understood you right, hopefully I did. This board continues to talk about, I wouldn't use the word global, I would use the whole community.
Right.
If that's what you meant,
That's what
then I
meant.
understood you correctly. We're always looking at ways that this community can survive. And the only way we can survive is development. Now, I want to make it very clear, I don't mean any development. I mean development that makes sense by this board, by the planning board, and by the zoning board. So we too, again, I wouldn't use that word, but I'm going to use it. We do also think all the time globally. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, just
Go ahead.
to, Edward Dunn, Craxton, Highland Falls, New York. Just to add to Eric's comments, the project that we're now looking at, 79 rooms. Okay, that's just hotel rooms. So at 1 car per room, that's 79 spaces. I believe they have 66 allotted. That discounts any employee.
Correct.
How many employees
We
are
know.
you gonna have there?
We know that. We know.
So now you're talking maybe, you're getting up to around maybe 85 parking spaces that you need
More.
or more, and then you're gonna have people that work there every day. Not everybody's gonna walk to work there.
No.
You know, some people can, but not everybody.
Nope.
So you're talking a parking problem.
Yeah.
You can't just give it
Well,
away.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other comments? Yes.
Sure, Joe. Where do you want me to stand?
Right there. Right here.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Village Board, for hearing me out. I'm next to the proposed development, and I thought there was a vote tonight on the comprehensive plan, the zoning change, and that's why I'm here.
Sir, let me say something. I'm trying to keep it open. I'm not trying, we are keeping it open because we want to hear from the public.
Yeah,
And we are.
Okay, so that's part of my point here, is the original dating of the public comment thing was December 2nd for December 16th public comments thing on Drew Avenue. And then you were gonna, I thought, vote on it tonight. And when I think about a comprehensive plan from Thayer Gate to Cousins, to me, that seems like spot zoning, just for this developer. And I heard last meeting that there's a consideration of extending the B3 from Thayer Gate all the way out to Nicole's, where Nicole's used to be. And that's good. And it should be comprehensive. You're the people here who really want to develop the community. Now, to develop the community, to me, is residential. And I drove around Saturday and Sunday and Monday, around all the north end, looking around. People have put in curb cuts. People have done their own parking on their property. And I see a lot of tear downs that could be redeveloped into maybe two-family houses with parking. I see empty lots on almost every street. And if you really want to revitalize the business district, it's with full-time residents, not transient residents who are going to be here for the football game. If you have residents, they're going to spend their money in the business district. And the businesses will then be able to afford the rents that are being asked on Main Street. So I would like you to put out in front of the community a better comprehensive plan that encompasses those changes and ask for more public comment. I know the developer is asking for a lot, a big building on a small piece of land, and he's asking for you to hurry to meet his building schedule. But take into account what's best for the community. And I ask all these questions because I hope you'll ask these questions amongst yourselves also. That's it.
I appreciate it. I'm glad that you did speak, and I can assure you that we do, almost daily, not just twice a month when we meet.
Well, again, the last time the comprehensive plan was done was in '09.
Well, let's don't call it, okay, I didn't want to say this, but we're not doing a comprehensive plan. I'm looking for a grant to update the comprehensive plan that was done in '09. It should be done because it's 10 years old. This zone change is not a comprehensive plan. No, it's not.
Oh, okay, so it's a zone, but.
Yeah, it's no.
Doesn't any zoning change need to bring into account the comprehensive plan of the community?
The comprehensive plan should be looked at when making changes. Yeah, it's not a Bible, but it's a book, it's a religious book.
Well, I thought it was a New York State, back, I don't know.
That we had
was it
to?
mandated, or. Okay.
Am I right? It's a good God.
It's a steering vehicle.
Yeah.
Joe, could I add something there?
One second. Yeah.
So it's a steering vehicle for us to look at. And obviously, the study was intense, and they looked at
What's that? Excuse me.
the previous comprehensive
Okay.
plan from '09. And that was set in place because they were looking what was best for the community, not only in the business district, but also in the residential districts, and how those changes could be made. I know the code books definitely needed to be updated for sure. And we were working on that, because there's two code books right now. There's a town code book and a village code book. And it would be a lot easier if we could get both of those to work together. But that's a whole nother animal that we've been working on for a while. But going back to the comprehensive plan that we need to look at it, you're right. But again, there's suggestions in there, a guideline. It's just like when we send this out to the Orange County Planning District, they have X amount of days to respond to us. Now, we take those responses and we look at them just like all the responses in the code. But do we have to do exactly what they say? No.
Okay. Well, it's
And
quick, 'cause
it's
I'm-
honestly, it deals right to this. So the plan from 2009 is just that, it's the plan. It doesn't change the code book. There was plenty of recommendations at the time. So I would say if you read that plan and you read the current county plan, it encourages these types of changes. It has encouraged tourism and bed and breakfasts and hotels in this community. So both
I'm
the town and
not
the village
against it.
didn't
I'm
make,
not against it.
didn't make
Just the
zoning
scale of it
changes,
is-
but I would say these changes are very much in line with the intent of the 2009 comprehensive plan.
Good. I hope the residential modifications are thought of also, because that's what's gonna drive your Main Street and get rid of your empty empty storefronts.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any? Sure, let's play last name.
MALECFT.
My name's Harvey Green, I'm on the planning board. When we had the developer in last Tuesday, he was very thorough about what he wanted to do. One of the things he mentioned was that he was requesting that Drew and Parry Avenues be made two-way streets for 200 feet to accommodate his garages. We've looked at those streets. There is no real way that that can be a two-way street and keep parking on them.
Okay. Harvey, I sent out an email today to the fire, one email to the fire chief, the superintendent of streets, and
The chief, police chief.
and I'm sorry, I'm the police chief, thank you. To hopefully, if they could get together, the best they can with their schedules, and make a recommendation back to me on this suggestion. And so I will wait for that, and the board will receive it, and we'll take it up then. But I don't disagree so much with what you're saying. It creates issues. It possibly creates. So let me, I got the three guys that should be on it, the fire chief, the police chief, and the highway superintendent. And they're gonna come back to me with something. Okay? All right. If there's nothing further,
Can I just build upon what his idea, if you don't mind? Thank you, again, for listening to me. If he gets the two-way, we're gonna lose 5 spots on Parry, we're gonna lose 4 spots on Drew. And I understand he wants to rent the 8-10 spots on Main Street from the village for, check-in parking. Valet parking. But what, is there businesses in this building also on the Main Street, on the first floor? I mean, where their customers park? So it is parking.
Yeah.
Parking is,
yeah, I want everyone to know that the board, along with our engineer, other folks, fire chief, police department, this is serious asking here. Whether it's two-way, whether it's leasing parking spaces, we're taking this extremely serious, spending, as we should, a lot of time on it.
and I'm
But
taking a lot of
nothing,
input.
but, I have to, I always
Yes.
do. But nothing, I want the public to know, I want you to know, nothing has been given to this developer. We're talking about parking or anything else, but nothing's been given. It's all being looked at,
Okay.
okay? Does anyone want to end this? You want to say anything? Sure.
We're not closing it, right?
No.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to,
I'll reserve my thoughts for
move on and keep the public hearing open till February 3, which is our next village board meeting. Thank you. Thank you. Public comment on agenda items? If I don't see your hand go up, just holler, okay? Anyone? Everyone? All right, I'll move on. There's no public comment on agenda items. New business. I have 3 sets of minutes. I'm going to do these separate. I would like to have a motion to approve the minutes from January 6, 2020.
Make a motion.
Motion by Merv, seconded by Brian Howard. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. The next 2 sets I'll do together. Trustee Ramus was absent. Special meeting on the 11th of January 2020 and a special meeting on January 16, 2020. If I could have a motion.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Jim. Did you want something? You sure? You need to get in?
No, I don't want to disturb you.
Motion by Jim and seconded by Brian Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
Yeah, one extension. Not extension.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Absent.
Got it?
Yeah.
Absent. Thank you so much. resignation of, we had a police officer here, part-time police officer, Philip Fagan, effective December the 12th, 2019, if we could accept his resignation.
Motion.
Motion by Brian Howard, seconded by Merv Livesey. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We have in the police department being recommended by the police chief, the completion of probation for our part-time dispatcher, Gina Bora, who used to be our full-time head dispatcher, but she moved away and came back and wanted to pick up a part-time job, and we had an opening, so she has served now her probation. She's completed it. The chief has recommended she be taken off effective January 22, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jim DeSalvo, second by Jim Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a recommendation by our village clerk for a part-time account clerk, Luciana Brown, $18 an hour with a maximum probation of 52 weeks. This is needed downstairs, and I'm glad to see it's going to be filled. Motion by
Second.
Brian Howard, seconded by Jim DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item I am going to table. Do we need a motion?
No.
I'd like to table that and speak to you in executive session about the contract. It'll make sense when I speak to you, and we can always put it back on the agenda next meeting. After that, we have approved training for Ryan Kresbach to attend a grade A operators class in Cortland, New York from March 9 to March 19
Second.
at a cost of $1,000 plus lodging, approximately $90 a day, as recommended by our chief water plant operator, Jack Sibley. Now, before you make the motion, I just want to say that the board is very happy about this. This is a young man that we hired. He started down at the highway department. We had an opening at the water plant, and I think we picked the right person to be up there. And he's going to be a second good guy employee to Jack Sibley. So I'm happy about this. Motion by Jim DeSalvo, second by Brian Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a quote here of $34,800 from Donato Excavating, LLC. Before I read any further, this is the company that did the Old Guard Hotel drainage over at Roe Park and up Berry Hill. Very good to work with. If there was an issue, they were approached, and they, in some cases, more than fixed it. To install a sanitary sewer line at the water plant. We had two quotes, $65,000 and from Donato, $34,800. I would recommend the $34,800. And so folks know, it might seem like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. The issue here which made it that they have to go 11 to 12 feet deep to put the sewer line in, which means a lot to the two fellows that work up at the water plant. They have not been able to use the bathroom. So we want to take care of that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the low bidder, Leonardo Excavating.
Second. Motion by Jim Ramus, second by Merv Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'm going to start a thing here. I'm going to bring up a basket. And everyone who has a cell phone, you put it in, remember that, you know that TV ad? You put your cell phone in the basket.
But how will I record the meetings then?
I don't think you're recording the meetings.
I don't know
I
that.
don't know what you're doing. I don't have a clue what you're over there doing. I know you go faster than me.
Yeah.
All right. I have bills and claims for fiscal year 2019, 2020, $144,277.22. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills and claims, but I'd like to just make a comment that we have to pay a fourth quarter MTA tax payment in these bills, and also we're paying a town and county tax for Bog Meadow, which is our water
Disgrace.
supply.
Disgrace.
Just so you
And
know,
let,
we
you
worked on
know
that,
how much that.
Oh, sure.
we worked on that Bog Meadow last year.
Doesn't Bob Meadow forgive us?
The fourth quarter MTA tax is $1,929.83,
Yep.
and the town and county on the Rock Meadow tax is $4,044.90.
That's for the fire, Fort Montgomery Fire District, Ambulance District, and something else. The town and the county forgive, but not the fire district.
Okay,
Fort
well, let's make
Montgomery.
that distinction then,
All
because I
right,
thought
well,
they
if
did
that's,
forgive
if
us.
that's the case, then
Yeah.
fine, but,
I thought the county did
yeah,
forgive
because I
us.
see town and county, but it does go to the
The
city.
the school tax
We're
doesn't
looking for the
forgive
school,
us.
Jim.
That comes,
We want the school to forgive us.
We were told about Meadow, we went up there.
Sorry.
If you come up before the budget,
You confused me.
Joe, do you remember this? Charlie and I went up before the budget and they said, we'll take a look at Bog Meadow as long as you give us enough time. We went up,
To the school?
yeah, before the budget was even thought about, we
Yeah.
said that, and they said, no, we can't afford to give you that.
Sorry, tight.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said.
I know.
That's what they said? See, that's their talking point. It's tight.
Very tight.
we need a second. We need a second on the bills.
Hmm?
We need a second
We
on the
need
bills.
a second on the bill.
Second.
Second. Mr. Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, that's the agenda. You need to go into executive session. I just have a quick couple of things. Let's see. I want, Mary Jane, I was thinking, because it's a serious situation, serious, that people take notice of the green and red flag at Roe Park.
I've had it in a couple weeks,
there-
I'll do it again.
There's two flags, one by the Little League field and one on the west side of Rowe Avenue, right in the middle of by the wall. Red and green, okay? I'm just, I don't know why, but it makes me nervous.
It's solid up there, too.
Yeah.
Not walkable, but it's getting there. Soon.
Chubby was on it?
Oh, yeah.
15 pounds.
Gina, is this on the village website?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you pick this up? So, on the village website, www.highlandfallsny.org, you'll find this PowerPoint that the LA group did for the village through a grant about waterfront, public spaces, and downtown revitalization. This comes from a meeting that was held about a week ago, January the 9th. There's great information in here. It's suggestions, but I would love to hear from folks, whether you stop and see me or send me an email. However you want to communicate with me. If you see something in here that you like and you want done, or you see something, maybe not see something in here that you do want done also. So this is important because we're gonna go with the final product once it's done, which will be soon. Okay, so it's important. Can I assume this isn't on there? These are the notes from that meeting?
Correct, I don't think they're.
Okay, so I would like to go over this with you tomorrow, and we put this on there. What this is a summary from this meeting that we had on the 9th of January. This is a summary of what was said, people's suggestions, and all of that. So this is important. Mary Jane, I gave this to
Yeah,
you.
you did.
Might you do something?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's good too. As long as we need to get the word out the best that we can. Again, I'd like to have the community, these forms are downstairs on the counter. If you have damage to your car by traveling on South Main Street, this time South Main Street meaning from the ambulance corps to the West Point Gate, that whole section there that we all know is bad. If you have any damage to your vehicle, here's a form that you can submit to get reimbursed. I think we have to, this is legitimate of course, but we have to make as much noise as we can because as I said at the last meeting, DOT, the regional division, Poughkeepsie? Poughkeepsie, said it's not even on the list to be done.
It was actually smoother when there was 3 inches of snow on it.
I know,
Mr. Mayor,
yeah,
point on that,
Yeah.
I'm working on setting up a postcard,
good.
that we can send not only to the governor, but to the head of the DOT and to our 2 representatives up in Albany, Senator Skoufis and the Assemblyman Schmidt. And I'm hoping maybe we can get 5,000 of them printed, and they'll already be pre-addressed. All you gotta do is sign your name, that you're a concerned taxpayer. And if they get overwhelmed with a bunch of postcards, hopefully that might shake the tree up there also.
And I think the last thing that I have, and I'll move on to the board, is that I'm happy to report that the board's efforts in Main Street revitalization is taking hold. There's so much that we can do as government, and then a lot of it also depends on entrepreneurs and local residents. And you can see what the village board has done with new sidewalks and paving, and come spring we're going to have brick paved crosswalks, and then we're going to do this end of Main Street from the church down to Mountain Avenue, new sidewalks on the east side, the west side, paving, brand new street furniture for both ends. So the Christmas lights are part of that. All that we do, having a guy employed to water all the flowers that different groups plant, all that's Main Street revitalization, which is really community revitalization. And I'm happy to report that with the efforts of this board, this is the least empty stores that there have been on Main Street in my memory. When I look at the empty stores, and I need to clarify my number, I see 2. That is the least that I've ever seen. Now, before everyone starts to count, there are a couple of more, but I happen to know that they're taken. So there will be people moving into them. So once they're done, and I feel there's a commitment for these 2 particular ones to move in, that will leave 2. So a lot of that has to do with this board. So many meetings we've had, you know that, so many meetings. I meet quite often with prospective owners who come to see the mayor to say, what do you think? I'm thinking about moving here, I'm thinking about opening up something. They tell me what it is, and I give them my point of view. But for sure, the revitalization of Main Street, which again, it really reaches further than Main Street, it reaches into the community, has begun to take shape. So publicly, I want to thank the board for all their efforts there, because there's certain items like the zoning, like parking, like what I just brought up, that we constantly talk about. It isn't just the one time that we meet here, that when it's brought up that we talk about it. We're constantly talking about these, and I think it's great. So I just want to thank the board for their efforts. Okay. Jim?
I'm good for them.
Mr. Burr?
The thing I want to say is I wish the folks that left were still here, and the reason why I say that, just to echo the mayor a little bit, I know there's some vacant shops down on Main Street and all of that, and I have had mixed feelings about the hotel, but I try to think about the positive part of having this hotel. And one of those things that have been brought to my mind is, if you think about it, living in this community, there are new residents moving in. Not only are the new residents moving in, a lot of these homes and apartments have been being worked on now, dressing them up. And Jim, you've brought pictures in, which is proof of that. Another positive way of thinking about a hotel as such size, you're going to bring in, let's just say weekly, 50 rooms. Okay, weekly coming in. Normally when you go out and you go to a hotel and you go on vacation somewhere, there's always that, let's go for a walk. So you'll want to hopefully go for a walk down Main Street. That's a positive sign of bringing attraction to stores, to customers going into the stores. and for business along Main Street. Part,
So talk about going for a walk, we're gonna have the art walk again this year.
so as trustee Ramus is saying, there's activities to do, so there's a positive way of looking at this. And when we talk about the parking that's gonna be out there, parking is difficult wherever you go sometimes. You have to walk. Very seldom can you just park in front of someplace and walk right inside. So I strongly feel though that this board, that is a big issue with us here. I think we'll resolve it and make it in a positive direction, but as I say, I've had mixed feelings. I feel better about this, having this come in here, much better. I think it's a positive direction for Highland Falls and for the town of Highlands, and I look forward to it. I really do.
Thank you, Jim?
Just a quick shout out for the Martin Luther King March down Main Street. I believe it was the mayor and Reverend Claiborne who started it. Probably I was in my single digits. So it was very nice. It was pretty good attended. It would have been nice to see some more folks out there, but it was cold and it was a decent turnout, and it was a good day to remember. So.
I went to the Parent University. It's a coalition of drug and alcohol group from Orange County. Mary James there. Only 4 parents showed up. It was very interesting to note that the marijuana has increased in potency from the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s. And now they're making chocolate chip cookies, they're making lollipops, hard candies. They've taken trademarks, changed the different lettering, and now they're giving candy bars out for kids. It is now 70 to 90% stronger than marijuana than ever before. For those parents who say my kids will never do that, peer pressure is pretty tough. The other issue that you need to know about is, if you don't want marijuana legalized, then please send a postcard or a letter to the governor and let him know that. This marijuana is not what it used to be. It's extremely potent.
Can I just make a quick?
I hope you're gonna go where I think you might.
I'm gonna go there right now. It's funny you should say that, Trustee Howard, because I believe in the governor's address today, the state has a $6 billion shortfall, $6 billion, of which thankfully our good friend Tom DiNapoli found 800 million of it in Medicaid fraud, which I'm sure if you peeled back another translucent layer, you'd find another 800 million. But he also spoke about the high potential of legalizing recreational marijuana. So I think it's wonderful that we have groups, ADAC, this Parent University, the high school, the middle school, the county. Locally, we try to do a DARE program, but it's going to be all for nothing should recreational marijuana be passed, because the reason we're going to pass it is because we don't have any other way to come up with a $6 billion shortfall, and that's a real shame. We're not doing it because of anything else other than we need to figure out, because everyone's leaving the state, on how to come up with some cash. And our state representatives, just ask them, like, well, why can't we come up with something else besides that? They're not gonna have an answer, so it's okay.
Jim, I can give you an answer, because Mary Jane was there. They did that study from Colorado. They counted on all kinds of monies from legalized marijuana. They did not get that money.
Of course not.
And they spent more money on police,
Sure.
hospital insurance, driving crashes and things of that nature. Other states are not making the money they thought they were going to make.
Correct.
And that's research. It's been done. It's not just a group of people getting together making statements. Colorado is in debt again.
So,
Real quick, two reasons. Number one, there's no federal regulation to it. And banks, which are federally chartered, can't deal with state okayed law for marijuana. So that means anybody who's selling it is unbankable, because they're gonna come in with loads amount of cash, and you won't be able to explain where you're getting the cash from. I'm telling you right now, because it's not federally regulated. That's number one. Number two, Colorado has probably 1/10 our population. So go figure that out. Figure out what that's gonna happen after that.
so the Millennium Pipeline came in and they gave a seminar out at Coles, they do it every year. And some of the people that were talking about the crashes and responses and proper procedure and stuff like that, they were from Colorado, one of the companies that came in. And that was one of their biggest things now that are causing accidents, that they find that the people are high on their.
It's 70 to 90% increase in potency.
Right.
Right.
It's not the
You need to
grass,
ask
it's not the grass you smoked in the 70s. I wasn't around, but.
Why are you looking at me?
Any of you guys that were in the 70s that may have smoked it, it's not the grass back then.
I wasn't around.
Is there anything else?
No, I'm good, thank you,
Oh,
sorry.
thank you.
Hot topic, hot
I
topic.
had to end with that. Okay.
Motion to executive session?
May I have a motion?
Motion.
Go into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Merv and second by Jim DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.
Mary Jane, you're gonna have a